Hello everyone. Now today I am going to explain to you all the story The Midnight Visitor. I am going to explain it in a very simple language just as I do every time. Now this particular story is about a secret agent named Osable who has spent an evening with a writer named Fowler who had expected that as he would be meeting a secret agent, he would be looking into a lot of adventure. But instead, he rather gets bored when he meets Osable because the things that happen later, the things that happen throughout the evening, was exactly the opposite of what he had imagined. But when the story ends, Fowler gets the proof of Osable's expertise as a secret agent. Osable did not fit any description of a secret agent Fowler had ever read. Who is Fowler? Fowler is a writer. He is actually writing a topic or writing an article about secret agents, and that's why he has come to spend some time with a secret agent named Osable. But he was disappointed because Osable did not fit any description of a secret agent Fowler had ever read. Because maybe Fowler had when you think of a secret agent, whose name does your mind greet fast? Maybe the character of Ethan Hunt, the character Ethan Hunt played by Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible series of movies, or maybe James Bond, a fictional character created by British novelist Ian Fleming. You must have seen the character of James Bond played by Pierce Brosnan. He was very handsome, very agile, very fit and very energetic. But Osable did not fit to any of these descriptions. Why? Because he was very fat, he was very unsmart, very sloppy. Following him down the musty corridor of the gloomy French hotel where Osable had a room, Fowler felt let down. He felt very disappointed. He had spent an evening in the French hotel where Osable had been staying, and nothing adventurous happened up till that point of time. It was a small room on the 6th and top floor and scarcely a setting for a romantic adventure. Because Fowler felt that as he was going to the room of Osable on the 6th floor, nothing important was going to happen exactly. So his purpose of visiting Osable will be a total failure. Osable was for one thing fat, very fat, and then there was his accent. Though he spoke French and German passably, means quite properly, he had never altogether lost the American accent that he had brought to Paris from Boston 20 years ago. "You are disappointed," Osable said wheezily over his shoulder. Wheezily means breathing with a whistling sound. Maybe he was panting a little, that's why his voice was a little bit wheezy. "You were told that I was a secret agent, a spy, dealing in espionage." Espionage means spying and danger. "You wish to meet me because you are a writer, a young and romantic, and you envisioned." Envisioned means you had imagined, you have imagined as a future possibility, or you have visualized. You have visualized mysterious figures in the night, the crack of pistols, drugs in the wine. So you had imagined that you will be able to deal with a lot of mysterious things while staying with me, like the cracking of pistols, the mixing of drugs in wines. Okay, something very adventurous, something very suspicious. Instead, you have spent a dull evening in a French music hall with a sloppy, fat man who, instead of having messages slipped into his hand by dark-eyed beauties, gets only a prosaic telephone call. Prosaic means ordinary telephone call, making an appointment in his room. So somebody has already called Ozable over telephone that he wishes to meet him in his room, okay, for exchange of a very important document. You have been bored. The fat man chuckled to himself. Chuckle means laughed quietly without opening the mouth, as he unlocked the door of his room and stood aside to let his frustrated guest enter. Frustrated means disappointed. You are disillusioned, Ozable told him. Disillusion means disappointed. Okay. Ozable told him, but take cheer means be happy, my young friend. Presently you will see a paper, a quite important paper, which several men and women have risked their lives, come to me. So you are going to experience the first adventure of the day when a very important paper will come to my hand. A paper that contains such an important information for which men and women have risked their lives. Someday soon, that paper may well affect the course of history. In fact, thought is drama. Is there not? One can think of drama even in small things, isn't it? As he spoke, Ozable closed the door behind him. Then he switched on the light. And as the light came on, Fowler had his first authentic thrill, the first proper thrill of the day. For halfway across the room, a small automatic pistol in his hand, stood a man. Who is this man? This man is also a spy belonging to some other group or some other country, the enemy country of Ozable. Ozable blinked a few times. Max, he wheezed. You gave me quite a start. Miss, you really surprised me. I thought you were in Berlin. What are you doing here in my room? Max was slender, a little less than tall, with features that suggested slightly the crafty, pointed countenance of a fox. Means his look suggested that he was as sly as a fox. There was about him, aside from the gun, nothing especially menacing. So apart from the gun that he was pointing, there was nothing threatening about him. The report, he murmured, the report that is being brought to you tonight concerning some new missiles, I thought I would take it from you. It will be safer in my hands than in yours. So, अगर तुम अपना भला चाहते हो, okay, if you want your good, then you should hand over the details of the missiles as soon as it reaches your hands. Okay, otherwise you will be shot. Ozable moved to an armchair and sat down heavily. I am going to raise the devil with the management this time, and you can bet on it, he said grimly. Grimly means seriously. This is the second time in a month that somebody has got into my room through that nuisance of a balcony. Fowler's eyes went to the single window of the room. It was an ordinary window against which now the night was pressing blackly. So Ozable told Max that he was definitely going to have a fight with the management of the hotel, because this was the second time that someone has climbed up from the balcony of the room. As Ozable said that, Fowler's eyes went to the single window of the room, ordinary window, okay, outside which it was slowly and gradually getting dark because it was night. Balcony, said Max with a rising inflection. No, Apaski, I did not know about the balcony It might have saved me some trouble had I known. So had I known about the balcony, it would have not given me so much trouble to enter your room, because I used a pass key, a duplicate key, to enter from the front door of your room. It is not my balcony, Oswald said with extreme irritation. It belongs to the next apartment. He glanced explanatorily at Fowler. He looked explanatorily at Fowler. You see, he said, this room used to be a part of a large unit, and the next room, through that door there, used to be the living room. It had the balcony, which extends under my window now. You can get onto it from the empty room 2 doors down, and somebody did last month. The management promised to block it off, but they haven't. Explanatorily means in an explaining manner. So Oswald continued that it was not his balcony through which people had tried coming in, but it was of the next apartment. Then he started explaining things to Fowler, that his room used to be a part of a large unit, and the room next to his room used to be a living room. Then he said that it had a balcony that came till the window of his room. Then he said that to climb to his room, one needed to go to the empty room which was 2 rooms away from his room and climb up the balcony. I repeat, he said that to climb up to his room, one needed to go to the empty room which was 2 rooms away from his room and climb up the balcony. Somebody had climbed up the balcony last month as well. Oswald also told Fowler that the management had told him that they would surely get it blocked, but they still hadn't done so. Max glanced at Fowler, who was standing stiffly not far from Oswald, and waved the gun with a commanding gesture. Please sit down, he said. We have a wait of half an hour, I think. So, pointing the gun now at Fowler, Max told him to sit down. Okay? Because they have to wait for half an hour. 31 minutes, Oswald said moodily, means angrily. The appointment was for 12:30. I wish I knew how you learned about the report, Max. I really don't know how you came to know about the missiles. Okay? The paper that contains the details of the missiles. The little spy smiled evilly. And we wish we knew how you people got the report. And I also have the same question. How you have the report of that missiles. But no harm has been done. I will get it back tonight. Okay? Things will come to my hands tonight. What is that? Who is at the door? Fowler jumped at the sudden knocking at the door. Oswald just smiled. That will be the police, he said. I thought that such an important paper as the one we are waiting for should have a little extra protection. I told them to check on me to make sure everything was all right. So, suddenly a knock is heard on the door and Max starts to panic. Fowler is also scared by the knock on the door. Oswald replied to Max's question that it must be the police because he had asked them to check on him after some time, as he thought that the report he was about to receive was important and definitely required extra attention. He had asked the police to check on him after every some time to assure that everything was alright. Now Max became panicky. Max beat his lips nervously. The knocking was repeated. What will you do now, Max? Oswald asked. If I do not answer the door, they will enter anyway. The door is unlocked and they will not hesitate to shoot. If they find you with the gun, they will not hesitate to shoot. Max's face was black with anger and he backed swiftly towards the window because he knows that there is a balcony, so he could hide in that balcony. Oswald had told that there was a balcony outside the window. He swung a leg over the sill Sill means the horizontal piece beneath a window, door, or any other opening. Okay. So he swung a leg over the sill and said, "Send them away," he warned. "I will wait on the balcony. Send them away or I will shoot and take my chances." The knocking at the door became louder and a voice was raised. "Mr. Ausable, Mr. Ausable." Keeping his body twisted so that his gun still covered the fat man and his guest. Who was the guest? Fowler. The man at the window, means Max, grabs the frame with his free hand to support himself. Then he swung his other leg up and over the window sill. The doorknob turned. Swiftly Max pushed with his left hand to free himself from the sill and dropped to the balcony. And then as he dropped, he screamed once shrilly. Sorry. So there was a loud scream. There was a loud scream. The doorknob turned and Max thought that the police would be coming in, so he jumped from the sill to fall on the balcony, and when he fell, a loud and shrill scream was heard. The door opened and a waiter stood there with a tray, a bottle and 2 glasses. "Here is the drink you ordered for when you returned," he said, and set the tray on the table. Deftly, skillfully uncorked the bottle and left the room. White-faced, Fowler stared after him, but he stammered, "The police." "There were no police," Ausable sighed, "only Henry, whom I was expecting. I was expecting Henry, the waiter, because I had ordered drinks, okay, wine and 2 glasses to be sent to my room." "But won't that man out on the balcony?" Fowler began. "No," said Ausable, "he won't return. You see, my young friend, there is no balcony. So he has almost died." So after the waiter kept the wine bottle and 2 glasses, he left. Okay, Henry left the room. Ausable asked about the man outside the window, to which Fowler asked about the man outside the window, to which Ausable replied that he would never come back, as there was no balcony and that Max had fallen on the ground from the top floor of the building. So he is dead by now. So in conclusion, there is a message in this particular story that in any difficult situation we should not panic. Instead, we should take a step and face the situation with our presence of mind. In no way Ausable was fit to be a spy, but he has a sharp presence of mind to tackle any kind of situation, and in time of need, that very thing actually mattered. I hope that you have enjoyed this particular story. This much for now. Goodbye.